Good afternoon, and welcome to our webinar, SoftPro, the right software lets you e-sign in person while mobile or online. My name is Joshua Levy, and I am the CEO of CompuTime. It is both my job and honor to introduce our presenters, and I will also be serving today as the moderator. For those of you who have joined our previous webinars, you know that this presentation is part of a series designed to educate our customers, ISVs, distribution and channel partners about CompuTime's expanded product line offering. It is with great pleasure to share that our webinars have been receiving rave reviews and our attendance continues to grow into the hundreds of registrants each time. But before we begin, I'd like to thank CompuTime's marketing partner, CMS Solutions, for putting together this wonderful presentation and recruiting the attendees. And a special thanks to Fat Chimp Studios, who will be recording this presentation and which will allow us to provide a higher quality video rebroadcast. Joining me today via a remote broadcast is Trevor Bray of SoftPro. Trevor is Vice President of Business Development and Marketing at SoftPro North America. Trevor has more than 20 years of international sales experience, with more than 10 in the electronic signature space. He is one of the most knowledgeable professionals in the industry, and it is a pleasure having him as today's main presenter. Also joining us remotely is Alan Sroff, SoftPro's Chief Technology Officer. As CTO, Alan is responsible for SoftPro's technology strategy, as well as all development professional services and research. With more than a decade of e-signature technology experience, Alan is a tremendous resource, and we appreciate him joining us as well. Alan will be available at the end of the presentation to help Trevor field questions and provide more details about the technology. Welcome, Alan. A paper-heavy approval process and trying to streamline the processes is often what triggers an organization to adopt e-signature technology. But it usually doesn't stop there. The resulting benefits awaken the desire to deploy across the enterprise, providing you with the technology that can accommodate any and all e-signing environments, whether it be online, in person, or mobile, is the reason CompuTime has recently become a SoftPro strategic distribution partner. We pride ourselves in having long-standing relationships with our customers. As such, we wanted to offer a software solution that can scale with your organization's needs. While the core e-signature software doesn't change, the way it is deployed can. So for example, you could use SoftPro's Click to Sign e-signature solution to enable your customers to complete an address change only by clicking I agree. No need to print, mail, and then process the resulting paperwork. It's all done online. You can use SignDoc Mobile to have your field personnel capture e-signatures on a mobile device. Instead of having the customer sign paper forms, have them sign on an iOS, Windows, or Android device. Finally, in-branch or retail transactions can be signed on a signature pad. In these instances, our newly expanded hardware offering provides a variety of options. Customers can sign on a small capture screen or read the entire document on a large LCD pen display and then e-sign. Regardless of how you e-sign, the cost savings and efficiency gains are indisputable. So, without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Trevor Bray, our main presenter. Trevor, take it over.
Thank you, Joshua, for that introduction. Good afternoon and welcome to the webinar, everybody. And it's a pleasure to introduce SoftPro to CompuTime's network of clients and resellers. Before I dive into my presentation, let me give you a brief overview of SoftPro North America. We've been in the market longer than most. We were established in 1983. We have 3 decades of experience. Over this time, we've built a truly international organization with offices in 7 countries. Within the US, we have offices on the East and West Coasts with a tried and tested customer and technical support and professional services infrastructure. Over the last 30 years, we've built a customer base across multiple markets, including banking and financial services, insurance, healthcare, and sales and service. It includes 12 of the world's 25 largest banks. Some of the largest e-signature deployments in the world have chosen SoftPro, such as AIA, who will have 50,000 agents e-signing on iPads by the end of 2013. We also have easy-to-use applications and cloud-based services designed for individual users. For additional information, be sure to check out our North American website, trustedsignatures.com. So let's get started by addressing the importance of adopting e-signing solutions now rather than later. The following statistics offer some compelling reasons to go paperless. 60% of employee time is spent working with documents, and 15% of an organization's revenues are spent creating, managing, and distributing documents. And as a consequence, the e-signature market grew 48% in 1 year, climbing from $111 million in 2010 to $164 million in 2011, with a similar growth trajectory forecasted for 2012 and beyond. It is probably no surprise to you that organizations are rapidly adopting e-signing, and those that don't will be quickly left behind, supporting inefficient businesses and processes. As you explore your e-signature technology options, one of the fundamental questions you'll need to ask yourself is, where does the e-signing need to take place? The answer is any and all environments in which you interact with your customers. Your organization probably operates in a variety of channels. Even though each channel creates a unique e-signing environment, there can be one common e-signing signature solution, regardless of whether you're e-signing in person, for example, in a brick-and-mortar branch, on the go, using mobile tablets, or online at home. Explaining how you can use SoftPro for all e-signing environments is the focus of our presentation today. You can deploy either our standalone solutions as is, tailor them to your needs, or use our SDKs to tightly integrate within your infrastructure or application. Let's now look at some of the SoftPro's customers and see how they have deployed e-signing. AIA used our offline iOS SDK to integrate our mobile iPad e-signing capabilities within their interactive insurance point-of-sale system, expected to be used by 50,000 agents by the end of 2013. They actually combined a handwritten biometric e-signature with a photograph for additional security. EDMC implemented a click-to-sign e-signature process. In this case, students will sign by simply clicking I agree through a standard web browser. UPS leveraged our relationship with Wacom to deploy our desktop application using the Wacom SDU 500 signature pad for in-branch signing. And Cintas, the uniform delivery people, used in-field agents and our desktop application on a tablet PC in order to capture their customers' signatures. So how did all of these customers deploy e-signing in these contrasting environments with one signature suite? The answer is our strategic SignDoc e-signature architecture. We have one common technology that can be implemented regardless of where the signing takes place. This also ensures that the software solutions are interoperable. That means that one document can accept a signature applied on a mobile device, and a co-signer signature could be captured on, for example, a signature pad. So let me go through this chart. On the right, in green, are our software development toolkits, or SDKs. These can be focused on document processing, that's our SignDoc SDK, or our core handwritten biometric e-signing technology, that's our Signware SDK. In the center, in gray, is our desktop solution, with a version capable of signing any printable document, and a version that enables native signing in Adobe Acrobat or Lifecycle. Our ActiveX controls allows you to tailor the look and functionality to your needs. Last but not least is our server-based e-signing, that's SignDoc Web, on the left, where signing takes place on a server rather than on a client. SignDoc Web supports mobile devices such as iPads, Android tablets and phones, and tablet PCs, as well as our click-to-sign solution. So which product should you choose? The next few slides attempt to show which SoftPro product option meets the needs of which e-signing environment. Along the left axis are SoftPro's product options, and along the top are the possible options for deployment, signature capture hardware, and the e-signature types. So you have initially first SignDoc Desktop, locally installed, as with all our solutions, Citrix ready, and capable to capture signatures on signature pads, pen displays, tablet PCs, and our Sign-Define solution, which I'll demonstrate later, where you can capture signature on an iPhone. We capture biometric handwritten electronic signatures, and also, as with all of our solutions, they can be customized to your exact needs. The SignDoc Adobe plugin has a very similar profile to SignDoc Desktop, and our SignDoc Web solution is a little different because that's now installed on the server and is capable of supporting both the sign pads, pen displays, tablet PCs, as well as Apple and Android tablets and phones. It's also capable of capturing both biometric handwritten signatures and click-to-sign signatures. And we have a set of SDKs for all of these solutions to allow a tighter integration within your application. So we've introduced you to SoftPro's SignDoc Solution Suite. In the next few slides, I'll go through the 5 e-signature essentials. Use these as your must-have list when deciding upon an e-signature platform for your business. Firstly, look for flexible e-signature capture options. Some processes will lend themselves to clicking I agree, while others will benefit from a handwritten biometric signature. Not only do you need the flexibility to choose the signature type that suits the process, but that signature should produce a standard signature file. SoftPro leverages the ISO 32000 signature standard. Any signature created with SoftPro results in a standard signature format that can be verified using only Adobe Reader. This is important for a couple of reasons. Your organization, your customers, and any third party whom you send the e-signed document can verify that the document was not tampered with post-signing by using the ubiquitous and free Adobe Reader. And the signature has the same look and feel and the same validation process regardless of the signing method. The third must-have is a consistent user interface. As we mentioned before, the environment dictates how a person will e-sign. Having a consistent front-end user interface, whether you're e-signing online or in office, results in greater satisfaction. Your customers will appreciate having a similar e-signing experience regardless of where the transaction takes place, and it also minimizes your employee training requirements because they're already familiar with the e-signature software interface. The fourth must-have feature is easy integration. You don't want your e-signature project to drag on for years. Once you've gone through the decision-making process, you're ready to get started. SoftPro can ensure easy integration with our broad range of solution options. We offer out-of-the-box applications with ActiveX controls, SDKs, and an easy, no-cost trial of any or all of our solutions. Last but not least is security. Implementing a secure e-signing process includes a few key components. Firstly, confirming the signer's identity. You can leverage the capabilities of a high-quality signature capture pad or tablet to capture the unique biometric signature data. We don't use images. The biometric data includes the pressure, the speed, and the X and Y coordinates of the signature. This information is stored in the SoftPro electronic signature file, and if there's a dispute on whether or not a person indeed signed a document, you can compare the stored signature reference with a new or previous signature. Secondly, proving what was signed. a person may say that they did not see or read a particular document. By implementing an e-process, you can control what document is presented, when it is presented, and if signing or clicking I agree is required for the process to continue. Finally, validate the signature. As SoftPro leverages the ISO signature standard, you can verify that the document was not tampered with post-signing using only Adobe Reader. So let's dive into the actual demos. What I'm going to demo is three solutions. The first is our SignDoc desktop, and I'm going to use a Wacom STU500 signature pad connected via USB port to my laptop. The second demo is going to use the same SignDoc desktop application, but this time use my iPhone as the signing mechanism. And then lastly, I'm going to demonstrate an iPad application that we developed for life insurance application, which leveraged our offline SDK as a demonstration of mobile e-signing. So I'm going to now switch to the demo. So typically, the application that generates the document that's going to be signed would probably partially or completely pre-populate it, and when you're ready to sign, it would programmatically or automatically open the document within the SignDoc reader. But in this case, I'm going to simply open a document. In this case, it's a fictitious bank, Trapeza Bank. It's a bank account application, and you can see it's now within the SignDoc reader. And I can explain some of the functionality that we have here. First of all, in this case, the PDF document already had signature fields. So we automatically recognize the signature fields that are ready to sign here in this document. However, signature fields can also be manually added on the fly. So we could add a signature field here and sign there if we wanted to. We can add attachments. We can print and save. We can move between different pages. We can enlarge and minimize. We can annotate. We can also edit signature form fields. We can show here the form fields that are available within this document. So, for example, I can, within the SignDoc reader, I'll add my name here. And now I'm going to go down and actually sign this document. So I select Sign, and it opens the signature dialog box, and simultaneously it's going to actually open the same signature dialog box on the Wacom pad. I'll add my name here at the top as well. And I'm going to sign. So that is my signature, and it's, of course, not just the image of the signature which we're capturing, but it's these unique biometrics that are unique to the way in which I sign. And as I press OK, I'm going to initiate an integrity hash of the entire document and signature data. This is really the functionality that ensures that if anything changes this document at some later point, that you can show exactly what has changed and identify that that change has taken place. So what I'm now going to do is go through signing that same document, but this time I'm going to sign using my iPhone. So what you should be able to see now on the screen is my iPhone. Make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to go through the same process of opening the same bank account application. Go down to the signature field. But you can see what I've actually done here is I've downloaded our Sign to Phone app from the Apple App Store. I'm going to open this. And if this were the first time that I'd used this phone, it would have, or it automatically generates this unique pairing code, which I would enter to pair this phone with this SignDoc running on this laptop. But of course, this is not the first time I've used this phone. I've used it many times, so I don't need to keep re-entering the pairing code. And as you can see, it automatically recognizes my phone. So I'm going to show here, and you can see on the left is the signature dialog box that would be open on my PC, and on the right is my iPhone, now ready to sign. And I can sign. I could sign with my finger. I'm actually going to sign with a stylus. I prefer that. And it goes through the unique process. But in this case, you're leveraging the hardware that I already had and was ready to use. So I'm now going to close that and show my iPad. So what you can now see on the screen is my iPad. And this is an application which we developed leveraging our offline SDK. So it's a fictitious insurance company, and I'm going to go through a life insurance application. The first screen gives some explanation of what you're going to do, what you're going to be signing, what the icons look like. And then you're going to gather the data. Typically, this would be completely or partially pre-populated, but you have every ability to edit these fields on the fly if you see some errors or need anything that needs to be changed. So we're capturing some personal information. And I'm not going to really take a picture of my driving license, but I'm going to simulate and leverage the fact that we have, of course, camera on the iPad. So here is just where I would take a picture of a driving license, actually just my desk. Select which pre-existing conditions I may have. And now sign the expiration and revocation agreement. So again, the signature dialog box comes up, and I'm going to use a stylus to sign my name. Pressing accept does the same process as the SignDoc desktop demonstration which we showed earlier, capturing the biometric signature data. And now the next document is a consent for HIV testing. Sign this, same process. And now when I press continue, it's going to generate two PDF documents, which in this case is going to be emailed directly to me as the prospective customer, and could be programmatically sent to the document management system as well. So we'll not let that's going through that process now. But what we're now going to do is go back to the presentation and just with some concluding slides. So SoftPro is very excited to be part of CompuTime's product offering and to provide you with the opportunity to future-proof your e-signature technology investment. What I'd now like to do is just summarize some of the very compelling advantages that we can offer you. All about future-proofing your e-signature investment. So firstly, our multi-channel support. Our ability to offer multiple signing methods to support all and every potential customer e-signing requirement, or the multiple channels potentially of a single enterprise customer. Our solutions, SignDoc, are very easy to evaluate, easy to integrate, and easy to use. This reduces the demands on your IT department. Our support of multiple hardware options. You can choose the signature capture hardware that meets your requirements, whatever it might be, now and in the future, without being locked into one provider's roadmap. And finally, our solution is generally installed on-premise. So that means it resides behind your firewall and is thus completely under your control. So what I'd like to suggest for all of you as a next step in our concluding slide is to contact CompuTime for a 90-day free trial. We'd be very happy to support that and answer any of your questions. So this concludes the presentation and demonstrations. I hope you found them informative. In the remaining minutes, Alain Saraf and I will now answer as many of the questions you have submitted as time permits.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation, and we really, when anybody's willing to do a demo on a webinar, we joke back in the offices that it's a very high risk, high rewards situation, so it shows a confidence in the software, and it went over without a hitch. So thank you very much for that. We are going to turn it over to questions, and we've gotten some questions throughout the presentation. So Trevor, our first question is, do you use signature biometrics to authenticate the user and the signature?
We do capture signature biometrics when a handwritten electronic signature is captured, and they could be used in many different ways. Most applications use it replacing a paper-based process, so they're used to capture a really strong, legally binding audit trail that could be used to prove that to authenticate the signer at a later date. We do offer signature verification services as well, where you actually would create a template of a signature and then make a comparison and accept or reject that comparison.
Great, Trevor. And I know this was covered in the demonstration, but maybe elaborate. Does SignDoc recognize Adobe signature fields, and how does that integration work?
Absolutely, and maybe this might be a great question for Alain. But Alain, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, Trevor, thank you. The whole architecture is based actually on the Adobe Digital Signature architecture. The ISO standards that we follow are actually, there's two. There's the standard for the Adobe Digital Signature, and there's a standard for the format of the biometric data. And this is something that we've really tried to keep consistent throughout the whole suite of products. And the idea behind it really is that if you sign a document with SoftPro technology, that you don't need SoftPro's technology to verify the validity of the document and the integrity of the document. So when you open a document in our software that has been prepared, let's say in Adobe Lifecycle or with Acrobat, and there are Adobe Digital Signature fields in it, our software will recognize those fields automatically. And if you want to create new signature fields in, say, a plain vanilla document that you've just loaded, that signature field will also be an Adobe Digital Signature field.
Great, thanks, Alan. And the people were very impressed with the phone demonstration. Is that app available, Trevor? And if so, how do you get the app?
It absolutely is available. It has been launched for iPhone and will be shortly also available for Android phones. And in order to use it, you would have to have a license of our SignDoc desktop solution, and then download the app from the Apple App Store. So it's a very simple process.
Great. And this one might be good for Trevor or for Alan. Is one signature type better than another? We've talked about online, we've talked about mobile, we've talked about different ways of getting it. Is there one signature that's better than the others?
Alain, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, sure. Like I was saying before, actually, the signature fields are all Adobe Digital Signature fields. So what ends up happening is that we capture data which is basically the payload of the signature, and that payload can be a handwritten signature, the biometric data captured from a tablet device, or it could be a click, or it could be a photo. So every field that we put into a document is an Adobe Digital Signature, no matter what type of, no matter what it's represented as in the document itself. So it's a kind of a difficult question to answer which one is better. I think it really depends on what it is that you're trying to achieve. For an online process, a click is probably better, simpler. For an in-branch solution, a handwritten signature is probably better. The AIA solution that we deployed, they decided to go with both a handwritten signature and a photo to have an extra proof of authorization. And yeah, both of them are, or all of those signature types are going to be digital signature type, valid digital signature types. So it really depends on what it is you're trying to do.
And Alan, as kind of a follow-up question or more about the biometrics, can the software platform perform biometric authentication in real time?
Yes, it can.
Excellent.
We provide products also for real-time authentication. You can do things like, for example, at the time of signing, verify whether or not the person is authorized to sign that document. So, you have basically a database of registered signers with a biometric reference signature, and these can be verified either before placing the signature into the document or after placing the signature in the document. There are many different possibilities.
Great, and this question is probably for a specific attendee, which we welcome those questions. Feel free to submit any types of questions. Can you support a hosted solution that captures signatures as part of a delivery process? So for example, their solution doesn't sit behind the firewall, but resides on their hosted server. So can SoftPro support that?
Yes, absolutely. Our solution, either the server-based solution, SignDocWeb, or of course with our SDKs, you're completely flexible. You can pretty much do anything that you want to do, whether it's behind the firewall or in the cloud. But even our full-blown applications like SignDocWeb, SignDocWeb is a web application. It is a web server. It can be deployed in a service-based or a hosted solution. And Alan, the same WAR files can be placed behind the firewall.
Yeah, I apologize for, so he just answered the following question, which is, does the mobile SDK perform signing locally, or is it executed on the back-end server? Here's another question, and some of the sales-related questions I won't bother all of our attendees with. Can we show you a signed document that has been tampered with? Absolutely. Due to the nature of the webinar, what I'd love to do is and for many of our questions that we don't have the time to get to, we'll have someone get in touch with you and do a one-on-one demo to show you what a signed document looks like that's been tampered with and how SoftPro deals with that. Is there a demo, and is there a demo available for SignDocWeb for in-browser integration, and if so, does it work across browsers? I think, Alan, you touched on that, but if you could go a little bit in deeper, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. We support Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, Opera. Thank you. The server software can be deployed under Linux or Windows. You can also build our SDKs are supported also on several platforms: Linux, Windows, Android, and iOS. So, our philosophy has really been from the start to provide as many integration possibilities and easy integration possibilities as possible. So we've really put a lot of value on different platforms, different interfacing possibilities, different building blocks and examples that you can basically just take and put into your code.
Excellent. And
or deploy as a complete.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, or alternatively deploy as a completed application. So really at every layer of the software stack.
Excellent. Just time for just a couple more questions, so please submit them. We've got and we won't be able to get to all of the questions, but can you use your technology to sign with a personal certificate?
Yes, absolutely. There are different methods that you can use for signing. You can use what is called a self-signed certificate that is created on the fly, or you can also take a certificate out of the certificate store, provide your own certificate for signing. And generally, when we deploy whether it's the client-based solution or the web-based solution, our customers will of course use their own certificate for signing because they want to make sure that when somebody opens that document in the Adobe Reader, that it says signed by company XYZ and not signed by SoftPro.
Great. And Trevor, this is about the iPhone. Does the sign to phone also work on the iPad as well? And we saw you demonstrate that, but is it the exact same app or is it a different set of software?
Yes, you can use the iPad. It's a little different. What I was demonstrating was on the iPad was a specific application, a full application developed to be entirely run on the iPad. Whereas when I used the sign to phone, the application was actually running on my PC, and then I was using the iPhone purely as a signature capture device. So there are other options for signature capture devices like iPhone or shortly iPad or Android phones in the future as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and of course the app is a universal app, so it does also run on the iPad.
And on the mobile app, what happens to the signature if connectivity is lost?
Well, actually, in the case of the iPad application that I demonstrated, that was happening entirely offline. So I actually was starting the synchronization process, or in this case, sending the signed email copies of the documents that I signed at the very end. But if I had no connectivity, it would have simply remained on the iPad. That entire application I demonstrated, including the signing, was happening all offline.
Okay.
So we have ability for online or offline.
Good. And we just time for two more questions. Just a random question. Can you handle fingerprints or voice records for signing documents? I know you got the ability to do the picture as we saw in the demo, but how about fingerprints or voice?
Alain, would you like to cover that?
Yeah. Currently, we support the following signature types: a click, or a click to sign type of signature, a handwritten signature, and a photo. What I was mentioning before about the payloads is that the way that our architecture is set up, that we have basically a payload that is being placed into the signature container or signature object. So the whole thing is an Adobe digital signature, and what is actually being placed into it can be anything. It could be a voice file, it could be a fingerprint, it could be a handwritten signature. The software today, right now at this point in time, supports a handwritten signature and a photo, but we can pretty much add anything the way that the software is set up.
Great, Alan and Trevor, thank you so much for your time. For our attendees, thank you as well for joining us. We will be following up as a follow-up to our webinar presentation. We'll be answering any questions that were submitted that we didn't have time for. We want to be respectful of everyone's time and appreciate your attendance. We'll also be sending out a recording and the slide deck that you saw tomorrow. And we look forward to seeing you, or you joining us, I should say, in future webinars. Thank you very much and have a great day.